What's up, everybody? My name's Big Cam and welcome back to another Hot Toys 1/6 scale Marvel figure unboxing. And today we have a very special figure near and dear to my heart, and that is Charlie Cox's Daredevil from the Netflix Daredevil series, and now heading into the Marvel MCU proper with Daredevil Born Again Season 2 dropping earlier this week. So I figured it's Daredevil Born Again time, might as well do a couple of Daredevil figures, so in the weeks to come we also have some Daredevil figures coming, and you know, some people in the Daredevil series. But this box has that nice red cover with the Daredevil in the shadow there. It says Daredevil on front. It also has in Braille what has to say Daredevil there, and then it says TMS 003. So this was the third TV Masterpiece series figure they did, so I wonder what number 1 and 2 was for their TV figures. But either way, Daredevil here is a 1/6 scale collectible figure, a very old figure. I'm not sure quite the year. I wonder if it says it. This figure came out back in 2017, I believe, if that date on the back there is correct, but you got some legal information warnings on the back there. Nothing too much going on with this box, so let's slide off the cover of this. Oh boy. Now, this is a very old figure, but I was still able to find a new version of this figure on eBay. Spent a little bit more money, but I've had some bad experience with pre-owned figures, so I like to stick to new figures, where at least if it's damaged, it's my fault, you know what I mean? Or it's just Hot Toys' fault and not some other person I can blame and get mad at. You know, anger issues. You don't want to fucking have me directed at you as a target, you know what I mean? But some Daredevil cast and crew of the people that made this figure on the back of the box there. Just a nice black slipcover that says Daredevil, a little bit of red trim around the side there, and you can see the little Daredevil horns on the front. That's a nice little touch. But I think the only thing left to do is pull this bad boy up out of this box and take my first in-person look at this figure. Alright, so just pulled this guy out of the box. Instructions down bottom, make sure you guys read that, don't want to break your figures. But this figure, I didn't know, came with a diorama backdrop that says Daredevil up top, and it looks like the streets in New York. That's a nice little touch, and definitely we'll try that out with the figure and see how that works. But just popping off the top of this plastic tray here and taking my first in-person look at this figure. Oh my goodness. Now, I've watched the Netflix Daredevil series multiple times. I've watched the Born Again series multiple times. The only thing I can say I haven't necessarily watched more than twice is Defenders. You know, I just did my second watch of that recently with my roommate, trying to get him all caught up on Daredevil before Born Again Season 2. But if you, too, liked the Netflix Daredevil series but haven't necessarily got into Daredevil Born Again yet, but want to watch Season 2 when it comes out, there is breakdowns currently on the channel for Charlie Cox's Daredevil, and there's breakdowns for Season 1, 2, and 3 of the Netflix Daredevil seasons, and there's also a full season recap up on the channel currently for Born Again Season 1 to get you all caught up so you're ready for Born Again Season 2, and breakdowns for those episodes will be coming out shortly as well. But first in hands impressions of this figure, the suit looks awesome. The head sculpt looks awesome as well. It's got a little bit of battle damage on it too, which I'm always a sucker for. It looks like he's bleeding a little bit. And currently on the figure, he has the gritted teeth head sculpt, but it looks like he also comes with like a little stoic faceplate as well. But yeah, smaller than I expected. Now, I know Charlie isn't a big guy, but the screen, for some reason, always makes you think that they're larger than life, you know what I mean? And he's always going up toe-to-toe with Kingpin, so I don't know why, but I was picturing Charlie to be a bigger boy, but I guess he is a small boy, and I guess that that works, that's accurate. But he comes with, looks like some batons. Might come with like a diorama display base? Interesting. I'll have to pull out everything that he comes with here and we'll take a closer look at him. But yeah, I am currently impressed. This is like a leather suit. It looks nice. It luckily is like the season 2 and on Daredevil mask, because if you guys remember, it took all of season 1 for Daredevil to get into the suit, and the mask for the Daredevil season 1 finale was more black and it didn't look quite right, but they went back to the drawing board for season 2 for the mask and they fixed it, because the suit looked great but the mask needed some serious work. And then by the time he gets into Born Again, he's already been in She-Hulk in the MCU, and he had the yellow and red suit, which might be getting unboxed on the channel soon, possibly next week. Stay tuned for that. We're going to be going through some Daredevil figures for the next couple weeks, so I hope you guys are interested. And yeah, my boy Charlie Cox here. I'm so excited to see that they just announced that Hot Toys is going to be doing the black and red suit from Daredevil Born Again Season 2, although that figure probably won't come out until 2029. But they also announced last year the red Daredevil suit from Born Again Season 1, and I pre-ordered that, but that I don't think is coming until 2027. So, you know, I am patiently waiting, but almost impatiently, because I am dying to get my hands on that red suited Daredevil. He just looked so perfect, and it's like, you know, the most accurate to today on how Daredevil looks, where this figure looks great, but it's more of the Netflix Daredevil. It's not, you know, the current MCU Daredevil. So this bad boy, I think, is going to go on to my streaming shelf with all the other Disney Plus shows, if you would, and at least until I have more Daredevils to give him his own proper shelf. But yeah, this figure's looking awesome, and I think we're going to put the weapons in his holsters and take everything out of this box that he comes with, and we're going to take a closer look for you guys at everything that Daredevil from the Netflix Daredevil series has to offer.
Oh, right, everybody. So we got Netflix Daredevil in front of me here, and not too many accessories he comes with, but you can see that backdrop that he comes with says Daredevil right up above him. And if I had the room, I'd probably use it, but yeah, it's just like a street, and he's like, you know, walking down the streets. And I do appreciate the display base he's standing on, and they send that little extra piece behind, you know, just to kind of add to the display and maybe fill in that little area back there. But we'll look more at that in a second. Just to look at some of the accessories he comes with. He comes with 2 fist hands that are currently on the figure out of the box, and then 2 grabbing hands for his batons. I do have his batons in the holsters for the 2 that go in there, but he also comes with a full baton with the 2 pieces together, and a wired baton to make it look like he's throwing that or something. Maybe he's like choking somebody with the wire or something. I don't know. You can get creative. But yeah, the figure himself, split cut boots, not a bad little design there, especially for as old a figure this is. I wasn't expecting that. But you can see in the middle there a stoic face mold and face sculpt, and there's a more, you know, angry gritting teeth face sculpt with a little bit of blood on his jaw and coming out of his nose and dripping down his cheek, you know. So I'm probably going to use that battle damaged one, but I'll at least show what the stoic one looks like on the figure during the posing section. But he also comes with 2, you know, more relaxed hands. The right hand's definitely more relaxed, and the left hand's maybe grabbing or, you know, gripping a throat or something, or trying to grab you to be able to throw a punch at you or hit you with his baton with his other hand, you know what I mean? Not bad, but I wish, you know, maybe some more accessories, but honestly, what would he come with? But so the diorama base, you can see it looks like it's like construction concrete, you know, maybe a little chipped concrete here and there, you know, but it's also kind of shiny in some areas, maybe like there's oil or water dripping on the surface on the sidewalk in New York. I do like the Daredevil with the Netflix, you know, skyline in the background. That's not bad. But the little other piece that it comes with out back, and it comes with just this like little riser piece to match the same height as the base, and then it comes with like this little decoration, if you would, you know, so he can have this like he's on the streets of New York, and it kind of matches up, you know, right with the display base in the little stand. You know, it does add a couple extra inches on the back of it, but you know, if you wanted to use that backdrop display or just this little display here to make it look like he's more on the city and streets in New York, you know what I mean, you could. I think I might end up, you know, tossing this like here and having a foot up on this or something, you know, even though that's not the most sturdy thing. But I think that will maybe be able to take up less space, but still be able to use it. So that might be what I end up doing. But if I do have the space for that, I might end up using it just like that. But at the current moment, I know I don't have the space for that Daredevil backdrop. So that is a no-go at the moment. But just to take a closer look at this figure himself down by the boots, he's got that sculpted plastic boots, but they're split cut. So he does have some articulation and he should be able to pose pretty well. He does have those knee pads. I would be worried about those maybe, don't want to peel those off by accident. He does have that thigh holster as well for his batons there, and you can see the two batons. One's a little shorter than the other, but it does say to put the bigger one in the back. So nice looking batons there. And, a couple of fist hands. I do like that they come with the little wrist straps that can cover up the wrist peg to make it look more seamless. That's always a good touch. It does come with a crotch grabber. The black on the inside. And if I remember correctly, I think it was supposed to be the black spots were heavily armored for like gunshot areas. Like if he was shot in the black, he would have been more safe. And then if he was, stabbed in the red, that would be more safe for that, or vice versa. Like something to do with the season 1 armor of Netflix Daredevil. I think one of the colors meant that he was more protected from gunfire, and one meant he was more covered for knife fire. Almost like the early Batman Begins suit. He's like, I need to turn my head and I need to be lighter. And he goes, well, he might be more susceptible to gunfire and, anything but a straight shot. But, he's knives. He goes, and then that ends up setting up the thing where he gets stabbed in between the chest blades, but nothing like that for Daredevil. Elektra doesn't stab him, and although our boy does get hurt multiple times, but it's normally not in this suit when he gets hurt, and the season 1 mask, like I was saying earlier, was all black, and Punisher shot him between his forehead, right in between the eyes to break that helmet so that he now has this new upgraded Daredevil mask. And I think this Daredevil mask looks way better, and you can see that stoic head sculpt with a little bit of blood dripping down it, and like the red glossy eyes, even though he's blind and he can't see out of those. But yeah, dude, that Daredevil mask, something about the shape of it, they really, really nailed. And I think they know they nailed it because they haven't changed it so much. And he's been pretty much in the same style of mask ever since, even on to the Daredevil, Born Again stuff. But I can't wait to get that Daredevil Born Again red suit in hand. And now that they've announced it, the black and red suit as well. Oh, Daredevil's such a good character. But I also have a more upgraded suit of him that should be coming out next week in that She-Hulk yellow and red suit. So we're definitely going to have to toss this suit and that suit next to each other in that upcoming video. So stay tuned for that. But at the current moment, I don't have any other Daredevil figures. So why don't we toss this bad boy into some poses and see what he's capable of before tossing him over on the shelf and seeing what he looks like next to all of the other Disney Plus Marvel streaming show figures.
All right, everybody, we got the Netflix Daredevil spinning around on the turntable for us here, just standing straight up and down, just as he comes fresh out of the box. But I have his batons in their holsters just to complete his look. And then I swapped out the battle damage faceplate for the stoic face sculpt, and I put his hands up like he's maybe in a little bit of a boxing pose, like his father before him was a boxer. And then still with the stoic face sculpt in, but with both batons down by his side. I feel like this is a pose we see him in many times in the show, with both batons out in the full Daredevil suit. But then I put the angry, battling, damaged faceplate back in there, and he's like running with a club up like he's about to hit you with the full baton. And then he has the wired baton in his hand, and if the wire was stronger, I would have set it up to make it look like he was throwing it, but the wire for this one was pretty weak, so I have it like he's separating the batons and pulling them apart, and he's maybe about to throw the baton. But then, because of lack of accessories and just lack of imagination at the moment, his final pose, I have him with one foot up on the little rubble that comes with this background display base, and you know, he has like his foot up on the curb in New York City, and he's got the full baton in one hand, and I do still have the broken down baton in the holster, so maybe he's got two batons on tonight's securing of the New York streets, you know what I mean? But ironically, you know, in the Netflix Daredevil series, yes, this is his Daredevil suit, but he honestly doesn't like this suit. He prefers to be the man in the mask with just the black scarf over his face. And I did order that figure some time ago, but the figure is, you know, pre-ordered, and the company that, you know, is doing that pushed it back. And it's supposed to be like a reprint of, you know, the black Daredevil suit, but like the original, you know, Man in the Mask look. But also, like I said, in the future, there will be a Daredevil Born Again Season 1 red suit that should be shipping probably by the end of 2026 or into 2027. And they just announced the black and red suit from Daredevil Born Again Season 2. So I will 100% be pre-ordering that when I get the chance. But like I said earlier in the video, if you guys are fans of Daredevil, the Netflix series, or Born Again, I would love to chat more with y'all. And if you want to check out my videos for Daredevil Born Again or the Netflix Daredevil series, there's a bunch of them already up on the channel now, so go check those out if you haven't. But I think the last thing to do for this bad boy is go and toss him on the shelf and see what he's looking like over there with the rest of my Marvel Disney Plus show figures.
Oh, right. So this figure filled that space perfectly. I had literally that one space in front there, right where Daredevil is, that has been open for some time now, and I just wasn't sure who was going to fill it. And it looks like I found the perfect person, at least for the time being, because in the next coming weeks, when we unbox more Daredevil figures alongside the Daredevil Born Again Season 2 episode just dropping, I will eventually have Daredevil maybe over here with the Daredevil statue in the background there. And, you know, these shelves are getting pretty packed, so they might need a rearranging in the future. And it's funny because, you know, it might be rearranged as close to next week, but there will be a collection tour video coming out either today or tomorrow. So when this video drops, it's going to be Saturday or Sunday, and then this Daredevil video will be dropping on the opposite day. So, you know, if this is coming out on Saturday, stay tuned for tomorrow for the 101 figure collection tour. Or if this video comes out on Sunday, go check out the 100 figure collection tour that came out yesterday. So go check that out if you haven't. A lot of great unboxings in this room, some really rare figures, some not so rare, some really cool figures like that Wolverine in the middle there. And last week's figure unboxings, we did the Human Torch up front there from Deadpool and Wolverine, and the third-party Cyclops in the background there that looks awesome as well. But the Deadpool and Wolverine figure shelf is looking good, but there's also more figures from this shelf coming. You know, we still have Blade to add to this. We still have maybe Elektra and Gambit if they ever make those figures. But there is also Nice Pool and Kid Pool. And I still have Deadpool and Wolverine over here, right? So this isn't even all of the figures on this one shelf here. And we do have another third-party figure like Patch back there. But yeah, I am very happy with my Marvel, my DC collection at the current moment. I do want to pad out more of my, you know, alternate figures that's not Marvel or DC, maybe some more Predator figures, maybe some more Game of Thrones people, maybe some more video game characters, but you'll have to let me know down in the comment section below, who do you want to see me unbox next? And in the next coming weeks, we will be doing some more Daredevil figures. So if you guys know of any Daredevil figures out there that I should unbox and that you want to see me unbox next, please drop those down in the comment section below and I'll try and get those done for you. But at the current moment, I think She-Hulk and the Daredevil suit, the red and yellow suit from She-Hulk, will be the figures getting unboxed next week. So stay tuned for that, y'all. And I really appreciate anybody that joined me today for this Daredevil figure unboxing. He looks really good. He is an older figure, but man, oh man, does that like muted maroon, you know, not quite red, full red suit, you know, kind of stealthy, but still that Daredevil suit, you know, that 1.0 for him. And I can't wait to toss more Charlie Cox Daredevil figures next to him and see how those compare. But
as far as my Marvel Disney Plus show, this is who we got at the current moment, even though Black Panther and Shuri there don't necessarily go on that shelf, but it is what it is. It fills out the shelf. It looks pretty good, so I'm happy with it, and stay tuned for that collection tour video that I'm about to start right after this, and yeah, I'll decide which day it's coming out on, but this weekend we got figure 101 and the collection tour video coming out. So I really hope you guys enjoy it, and also go check out my Daredevil Born Again Season 2 Episode 1 breakdown that should be up on the channel now. And if you want to send your Daredevil thoughts to me on my other social medias, links for those down in the description below. And thank you guys if you made it this far into the video and you would like to support the channel. The best way of doing that is liking this video, dropping a comment down in the comment section below, subscribing if you haven't already, and hit that bell so you don't miss next week's figure unboxings and you get the notifications when those come out. Once again, my name's Big Cam, and I'll see you gorgeous folks in the next video. Peace.